Hey everybody, Josh Siriton of World Alternative Media here, and with the recent Vault 7 release of classified CIA documents proving the over-the-top surveillance and corruption we've been called crazy for talking about for so many years, former CIA Director Michael Hayden thinks millennials are at fault to a certain extent. Check out this clip.
Beyond that, Caddy, there's another dynamic at work here. In order to do this kind of stuff, we have to recruit from a certain demographic. And I don't mean to judge them at all, but this group of millennials and related groups simply have different understandings of the words loyalty, secrecy, and transparency than certainly my generation did. And so we bring these folks into the agency, good Americans all, I can only assume, but again, culturally, they have different instincts than the people who made the decision to hire them. And we may be running into this different cultural approach that we saw with Chelsea Manning, with Edward Snowden, and now perhaps with a third actor.
Okay, now I'm usually the first to rag on millennials, being one myself. It's a rather sad generation of people. But one thing that so many millennials have right, amazingly, regardless of how they put that information to work, is that they are skeptical about being spied on. I'd argue that it's better to be adamantly against it than simply skeptical, but there you go. But Hayden isn't completely incorrect. According to a 2013 Pew Poll, they found millennials were, and I quote, more skeptical of government surveillance than any other age group, with 45% of millennials saying it was more important for the federal government to not intrude on personal privacy, even if that limits its ability to investigate possible terror threats, than to investigate possible terrorist threats, even if that intrudes on personal privacy. As Ben Franklin puts it, if you're willing to give up a little bit of liberty for a little bit of temporary security, you will get and you will deserve neither. Now, Hayden talks about his own generation being more subservient to such attacks on civil liberties, so he's calling himself a bootlicker. Of course, Operation Mockingbird is a great example of journalist subservience to the CIA, as they were basically controlled by the CIA in the mainstream. But once again, these corrupt bureaucrats and deep state officials are turning the story into who leaked what instead of, wow, we fucked up. Their reaction is priceless considering they were exposed for assassination, false flags, propaganda campaigns, and vast spying networks targeting basically all Americans and millions abroad. These leaks have just begun. According to Wikileaks, only 1% of the documents have been released, and this is likely to be the holy grail of deep state exposure. This can, if people are even somewhat awake, bring down the CIA. This is serious history in the making. So if millennials are the problem, for the first time ever, I will praise millennials. It's not that crazy to be anti-murder, anti-world government, anti-shadow government, and anti-psyop. It's not that absurd to not want everything you say to be recorded and listened to, or put in a database to be used as blackmail when the government has built their totalitarianism to a certain extent to throw you in a gulag for whatever you've done in the past. If this doesn't wake people up from their apathetic slumber, then perhaps we are dealing with a much larger problem than we'd originally thought. It's hard to tell if we're living in exciting times or daunting times, but they're the times we have, and it's up to us as individuals to act on it. Thanks for watching, everyone. You can check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are being censored here at WHAM. And you could also check below for our Bitcoin address, and we will also put up the code on the screen for you to scan. We'll be doing much more on Vault 7 as it continues to be released. There's still 99% to go, so stay tuned for much more. This is Josh Sigurdsson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.